her up. She brought us up, and then that's when I'm like, well, hold on a minute. Like, I don't. Yeah, if you're going to start, then
I couldn't care what people think of me. Take a step back. If you're a genuine human being with a brain, and look at the number of people that have come away from that woman damaged. There are so many people, friends, moderators, other TikTokers that are neighbors, for Christ's sake. All of these people have come forward and said exactly the same thing. Now, that's at least 50 people. I could literally sit here and name 50 people. I'm not making this up. And the more and more this goes on, the more harm happens to other people, and the more people will wake up to it. But the problem is she'll get a new batch of new enablers in, like she did the other day, this new Helen and all that, who see her nice side. And she does have a nice side. Don't get me wrong. She has a nice, that's why we were all drawn in the first place. She has a nice side. But after a couple of months, that mask slips, and then you see the real person. And that's what's dangerous about it. That is what's dangerous. And a lot of the people that watch me and think that I'm being over dramatic, or I'm bringing up nonsense, or I'm being obsessed, don't get to see that part of her very often. Only when she lets it slip. And to be fair, she's been letting it slip like mad recently. I mean, Christ knows what's been going on. It's been absolutely nuts.
I know. I've mentioned to other people that she's just gone feral like a guinea pig. It's bonkers.
Yeah. Well, Hannah says, I don't get the hate she got for falling out of the wheelchair. I don't think she deserved that. She worded it in a particular way. She over-dramatized it. That's why she got the hate. If she came on and said, guys, I fell out of my wheelchair, I got hurt, I went to the hospital, but I'll be okay, people would be like, oh, I hope you're okay. You know, that would be the messaging that she got. But because she had to record herself being picked up by paramedics, she had to go live in A&E, and she broadcasted other people's names. I'm sorry, that's the reason that she got the hate, not because she fell out of her wheelchair. And I think people need to understand that.
100%. Like, I wasn't sitting there going like, like fall out. You know, of course not. Let's say it's how she takes the situation, and then it's almost like she manipulates the situation to see how much she can get out of it. You know, like she wrings the sponge out. Because of course, because if it's not on live, it's not worth it, is it? You know, and obviously that's her entire life. And obviously there is, unfortunately, a sad thing to see somebody be like that. But unfortunately as well, it's also her own doing that she...
But then, you know, there is definitely a big part of the UK and the world where there are disabled people out there that are lonely. There are elderly people out there that are lonely, and they're not able to get out of the house and see people. And I feel very sorry for those people. I genuinely do. But there's also a part where if you act a certain way as a person, you lose friends. You can't just say it's all down to your disability. It is down as well to the way that you act to those friends. And they're not going to remain as friends if you treat them like crap. If you're not a very nice person underneath, people will see through that eventually, and they will decide not to be your friend. That, I think, is a big part of what happens here. I don't think it's as simple as saying it's because she's disabled or because of this and that. Of course, there's a part of that as well. And as I said, that was why I became friends, you know, because I could go and see her, and we could go out for meals, and I could help her where I could. That's why I was the friend. But then I got treated like crap, and I wasn't going to put up with it.
Exactly. I think, and then that's also why it's so important that you're not making videos to give her the attention that she obviously so craves. It's you're putting the videos out there almost like a PSA, you know, like you're just trying to alert people that she will try and manipulate, but you know, because if you get lulled into that whirlpool, like eventually once you reach the bottom,
and
then
you know what, there's always going to be people like this Tina in the world that just sit there and don't agree with me, and that's perfectly fine. You don't have to agree with me, just maybe open your eyes a little bit and see how it's affecting other people. It isn't just about me. That's my point. That's the point I've been making for the last hour. It's other people that have been dragged into this. So, even the comment me doesn't even make sense. It's because all these people that are talking about this were dragged into it as well.
And unlike a certain other creator, Annette, I'm not going to turn around and say, oh, whoever mute or whatever, because we're adults that have like a slightly thicker skin than obviously what she does, so she needs so much protecting because she's not built up any kind of defense. That's why and then she's so obsessive with obviously trolls and whatnot. It does kind of baffle you, really.
Let
why
me
she
tell
does
you this,
but...
right? She's a creator with 150,000 followers. So when she posts a video celebrating the fact that she got 150,000 followers, you'd expect there to be 10,000 likes on that video. You'd expect there to be hundreds of comments saying how lovely she is and how, congratulations. But there are about 50 comments and there are a few hundred likes. Why is that? Well, number one, because she deletes all the horrible comments about her. But number two, because people don't like her. That's it. It's as simple as that. All the evidence is in front of everyone's eyes. I don't need to make videos. I genuinely don't, because she does it to herself. Thank you, Siobhan.
No, 100%. And then it's also like, she, as I say, with 150,000 followers, you would expect there'd be like a better return. I mean, she even admitted to Zach that she doesn't make that much on TikTok. Oh, and why is that? Oh, because people do, as you said earlier, would rather just sit there and watch her to get all the drama as opposed to be invested in her as for content. Like with yourself, you've got your cooking lives, you got your cruise lives, your TikTok shop stuff, and that's actual content. All she's done is she's gone down the road or whatever to a field and watched some people play some classical music.
You're getting the usual. I get the usual comments like Ross here. Do you have anything to say that does not revolve around her? Ross, this is the first live I've done where I've spoken to someone else about this since it all kicked off. I could have done a live all about it and done what you've said there. I haven't just talked about this. I did a cooking live yesterday. I do cruise lives. I do videos talking about cruises. Yes, this week it's all kicked off on the FYP. So, of course, I've capitalized on that because I can make more people aware of things. That's it. So, it's not a valid point. I'm sorry. It just isn't. And Hannah, you're more than welcome to put an alternative view out there. I agree. I found myself feeling sorry. My point to you, Hannah, was just that I was in the same shoes you were, but I got to know her over a number of years personally outside of TikTok. Before she even came on TikTok, I was going on cruises with her. I went to conventions with her. I know her, or I knew her as a friend. And all I'm saying, Hannah, is I know what you feel. I went through that myself. I'm just saying that I got to the step beyond to where you are, and I got to see how she can be. That's all I'm saying. You don't have to believe me at all. Of course not. I just hope that people do.
So let's talk about half-price air fryers, John.
I've sold 2,000 air fryers. It's absolutely ridiculous from that video. Yeah.
Damn. That's a lot of air frying.
But you know what? It genuinely is a good air fryer, and it's a good price. They're very supportive, that company. They've sent me other things that I think are really good products. I never envisioned me doing this. I started cooking and then people started messaging me saying, can we send you this for you to try? And I was like, yeah, sure. I mean, I'm getting free stuff now because I'm famous. So I was like, hell no, I'm going to take it.
Of course.
Someone else said something here as well. Where is it? Sam said, John, what would be your step if she went legal? First of all, I don't think there's a valid case there. As much as she's got screenshots and recordings and all this nonsense, there's nothing that I've done that I think would warrant a valid court case where a judge would agree with her. And even if it got to that point, there's plenty of illegal things that happen to me and my workplace, etc., that would trump any case that could come through. It would get thrown out, right? And not to mention that there's no way in hell she'll raise tens of thousands of pounds from her followers. There just isn't, because she hasn't got that many followers that would gift her that amount of money. So I'm not worried about it. I'm not going to have threats like that stop me from speaking my truth, you know. And it's people like her. You've got the government where they threaten. I don't even get me started on what they're doing about protests. You know, it's the way that they've worded things when they talk about protests. It's the same I view about disabilities and all that. Everyone is equal. Whether you've got a disability, you should be treated equally. If you are a migrant or not, you should be treated equally. If you come here for a genuine job, you should be treated equally. And I'm just saying that there's instances in the government where they make threats of legal action and jail and all that sort of stuff to people who are just protesting. And yes, there are people that went way too far with that as well. I don't even know why I'm going off on this tangent. I'm just trying to say that. I'm just trying to say it's dangerous when people threaten legal action, because it stifles free speech and it shouldn't be allowed. It's not going to stop me from making videos. I couldn't care less. Take me to court. I've got no money anyway. You know, I've got a few air fryers you could have.
Oh. So yeah, so what? So you're saying to the company? What, did you like approach the company, or did they?
The actual air fryer, I requested a
sort of
sample when I saw them being sold at the price they were being sold at. I thought, Christ, this is a good deal. I want to try it. They said, yeah, we'll send you one out. Just make a video on what you think of it. So I did. I said, this is a bargain. You know, I think it's a great deal. So they sent me one. I made the video. It started going viral, and they've been very supportive. I then gave it away in a charity raffle because I don't need it. I've got others, you know. I don't need 5 air fryers. And they sent me another one because they wanted me to do another video, and I gave that one away. You know, I wanted to support other people.
Exactly, as more than someone else. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm just trying to see comments as well.
Yeah. I'm really sorry, but John is a better person and she is a liar. Yep, that makes sense. Of course, it's very true. Thank you for the heart, mate. Thank you. Thank you for everyone. By the way, sorry, obviously, because I don't want to interrupt, especially when John is talking, because he obviously has so much more, you know. I'm just riding his coattails or whatever the phrase is, you know, the clout. But thank you to everyone that's been following as well, by the way.
I think it is really nice. It's a difficult situation. We've talked on it enough in the past. There are certainly elements of her life that I think are bad for her, are sad. It's sorry to see someone in those situations. I never wish anyone to be disabled. I'm very lucky and fortunate that I'm not in that position, and I wouldn't wish it upon anyone. I don't think she mistreated her animals. I don't think she mistreated Beth. I was shocked when I saw people going after her about her dog. It was a horrible thing to do. I would never do anything like that. I saw how much she loved her dog, but putting all of that to one side, she's also, a big part of her is a horrible person. I'm sorry to say it. And I like to make people aware of that because I think it's dangerous. And I've gone over those reasons plenty of times already this evening.
Yeah. And obviously, as I say, I wanted to do this live because of what she sort of said and brought X-Mods up and whatnot. And I'm kind of like, I'm in the same position. This is obviously lovely to see so many people of you. Hello. But it's kind of like moving forward. Yeah, like it would only ever be in reaction to her being quote unquote dumb. And it, you know, and just highlighting.
There's a valid point there from Miss K. 150,000 followers, 149,000 of them are blocked. I think, you know, the thing is, it still shows on your follower account when you block them, you know? So I know for a fact that she used to reach her. I think there was a limit of like 10,000 people blocked. And she used to reach that limit because she had to use to remove people from it. So she at least had 10,000 blocked back when I was doing it. And I think they removed know enough about birds. What I would say is the birds people that I've spoken to on the app tell me that it's not a good thing. I will take their advice on it, and I would say that I have reptiles, I have other animals that I can't leave alone for longer than a day because they need fresh water, they need fresh food. And so therefore I would have a pet sitter come in. I would drop them off at the local reptile shop if I need to. Molly goes to a family member and she loves it. So, I will do those things. If Annette believes that her pet would have been well kept, either she's maybe been given the wrong advice or she genuinely believes that. I don't know, Well, she's definitely in here in one way or another.
Of course, I feel her presence. Yeah, I mean, and I don't have any knowledge whatsoever about birds. All I know is that Luna, when she squeaks, it's very loud. It's louder than you think. Like, because I at the party, I had Luna like on my head, on my shoulder, and I was freaked out because I've never had a bird on me. But Luna was good, but obviously I wasn't expecting this high pitched squeak, and damn, it's ear piercing. But yeah, I don't know enough about birds. Like, I couldn't possibly give a comment. Like, personally,
I also think that there's a lot of times where she just has this sort of childlike tendency to not fully understand her actions, right? So I think that a lot of the things that she does, for example, where one of her vulnerable moderators, wasn't accepting a parcel, and instead of going, okay, she's obviously not in the right position for this right now, demanded that the mobile phone be put through a letterbox and all this sort of stuff. That's just not thinking the situation through. You're putting a much more stress and anxiety on someone who's vulnerable by doing that, and it was completely the wrong thing to do. Has she learnt from that? That's the key thing. In my opinion, she doesn't learn from those things and therefore repeats them again. And I think this is the cycle she gets into where she then loses those friends. Do you see where it is?
Yeah, it's like that. It's that perpetual cycles. Once it starts anew, she goes back through the same process again, whether it takes less time or longer, more time. But eventually she'll get to that point, and then that's when it all goes again. Like, it all falls apart, and then people leave, and then it starts it again. It's because, as you say, she does like trap people by getting them in because they do feel sorry for her. Because I did, like. I'd be silly to sit here and say, no, I was never fooled by her. Of course I was. Like, because this is the thing. When I first actually started using TikTok, and then and then I stumbled on her live, and then it became this whole thing of, because then I learned, about like gifting. And then when you start gifting and stuff like that, and then it's just like, and then she's saying my username and whatnot, and then it made me feel good. And then obviously when you see like that negativity that she was getting, and then I'm trying to then do something nice, and I say you get suckered in, and then eventually, as you said, once that mask slips, you then realise that, because I say, like, for me, it was what I could only describe as the whole mole saga. That, there was this mole, and, it just started, it really just like, as I say it imploded, because it was all from inside. It was all from the inside, and it just imploded. But she says there's no mod chat, but on her live the other day, she turned around and said, oh, sorry, I'm just responding to my mods. And I was looking at the screen, she could see in the reflection in her glasses. I swear that she's still got some kind of WhatsApp group.
Yeah. Look, I mean, at the end of the day, people, probably everyone in here that's listening to us talk about this, watched Annette initially because they thought she was a night person. Like, no one came into watching her in the first 5 minutes and went, I hate this woman. Okay, maybe recently because of her actions, I don't know. But genuinely, most people would have started watching her because they thought, oh, this is a nice lady who, you know, is struggling with life and all this sort of stuff and could use our support. It'd be nice if I could have a chat with her. You know, she reminds you of your auntie or something, you know, and I get that. But the amount of people that then come to me afterwards and, you know, I got so slated for the videos that I did. I got so slated. And now for some of these people to come out and say, you know, I wish I'd listened to you at the beginning. I'm not saying that to big me up. I'm just saying sometimes things aren't what they seem, you know, and just have an open mind. Even if you hate me and you don't agree with me, at least take a step back and think, is this normal? Is this behavior right? Am I happy with what's going on here? Don't even have to listen to me.
No, exactly. I mean, I say hindsight is a beautiful thing. Like, when I look back, that's why I say I find looking back, because I say, obviously, when I joined the mod chat, obviously, the situation between Annette and John was way in the past. So I obviously had no privy access to obviously that at all. But I say, when I look back now, it's just like, I do generally find it a certain kind of humor to it, because otherwise, you know, it's like either do you laugh or do you cry? Like, you know, I'd rather kind of just use the time that I've got now and the platform that I've got now to sort of take advantage, like you sort of said, in the sense of, yeah, if she does something silly and it's just like, and she's saying something that is genuinely toxic and quite harmful, and if other people stop, like, believe her, you know, could end up doing harm to themselves or whatever, then it's worth highlighting that, you know, it's not all as what it seems, you know. So yeah, I completely agree with you, John. Honestly, 100%, you know, with everything that you have said. And as you say, once you take that step back and you take a deep breath and just try and see it from another perspective, that's when you then realise, hold on a second, like, this is not all, you know, hunky-dory here.
And just to sort of back up my credentials a little bit, you know, my background is that I used to run quite a successful business. I've obviously got some knowledge of life from that, of dealing with so many hundreds of staff members over the 13 or 14 years that I did. I used to answer calls for the Samaritans, you know, but they even tried to target them and tell them to get rid of me. You know, and there's someone here called Poppy. I don't know if you remember, but Poppy used to be, I haven't mentioned her name, Poppy, only because I said that I wouldn't, but obviously you've come in here now. She is one of those ones that I was talking about earlier, where was a good friend, you know, and I think was going to meet up or did meet up for a birthday party originally. And actually, Poppy is one of the nicest people that I've ever spoken to. She actually came to look after my animals for me when I went away. And she came and stayed at my house. And this is one of those girls from that girl chat that she banged on about for so long. The only reason they're not friends anymore is because they kept being dragged into these dramas. They kept being told that this and this was going on. Ambulances were being rung behind the scenes. Kept constantly being dragged into this drama. And they just didn't need it. And they didn't want it. And that's why so many friends left. That's why so many mods leave. I mean, you were in the mod chat. I don't know how long you were, but you were in the mod chat, so you know what went on in there.
Oh, yeah. And I sort of mentioned earlier, like, when sort of first started the live and I was talking to Harry, you know, it's just like, there were times where I was just like, I don't know whether or not I can sort of say my honest opinion, because there was times where it was just like, deep down, it was like, I don't agree with this. And I say, when it started to actually implode, like with this whole mole saga, that's when I was just like, no, you know what? Like, we can't, this can't keep happening,
and Mrs.
or this can't carry on.
Here, right? And Mrs. McCaw is someone that used to go live with her all the time. And she kept getting dragged into that drama and eventually left. I don't know the full story about why she left, and I respect that she might not want to tell that or anything, but she got to that point as well, you know? And that's a perfect example of someone who publicly supported her and publicly did lives with her, you know? And I do keep hearing this rumor that Pitta is a part of the. I genuinely don't know. When I was Annette's friend, Pitta seemed like a friend, to her. But I do keep hearing people say that. I genuinely don't know what she does or doesn't do. I can only listen to what people say.
Yeah, I mean, because like towards the end of, like, obviously, let's say the mole saga, there was like 4 or 5 different chats, and I was like in 3 of them, and then some people in other 2. And
the fact that she needed to have a core mod group and one where she put you if she didn't quite trust you shows you the kind of person that mentally like is going through her mind. Like, it's paranoia at that point that you have to have all these separate chats. Yeah.
Did she? Annette, well, no, Mrs. McCall saying Annette actually believed it was Pitta.
It was Pitta, what, the mole? I think the whole mole thing started because I told Pitta I'd been sent a screenshot of the mod chat and I sent a copy of it to Pitta. I think that's how the whole mole thing started. Because there are certain things that even I won't do. At that point, I was not willing to share numbers or personal information or anything like that. So I wanted to let them know they had someone that was leaking this stuff, because I wouldn't want that to happen to me. So that was one of the times where I did message them.
Peter was asked to do that.
So whoever the mole was contacted me pretending to be one of the mods, and I can't remember his name. Josh, that was it.
Josh.
And then changed their name afterwards.
Think, yeah.
And when I messaged Josh, it seemed like it was Josh because of the way they were talking. But then as I was talking, I was like, his main account isn't really like responding to me in the same way that the other account was. So I didn't know who it was. So I just thought, I'm not getting involved in this nonsense. I'm going to pass it on to them. And then obviously it all kicked off from there, really.
Yeah, pretty much. And then that's when the implosion started. And
I mean, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
There's a certain element of satisfaction from my point of view that happened, but not a satisfaction because Annette, you're screwed. Okay, there was a tiny bit of that because I think the childish part of me was like that. But actually the bigger part of me was like, these people are free now. These people can see it.
I did feel somewhat liberated because it was just like, you know what? Because I think I just wanted to come on TikTok, and then it was like I joined the community and I felt appreciated and loved, which we all kind of do, don't we? Like no one wants to be hated, I guess, but but then I say and then it just started to like heat up. And there was no preparation for like, just be prepared. But, like sometimes it gets a bit, the sea gets a bit rocky, like when you're modding for Annette, it's going to get a bit hard, and you might receive messages and you might get involved in the wrong way. But, like there was no message to say, but just remember, like, we've got your back. We support you, just say if you're not comfortable, anything like that. There was no behind the scenes care. It was just, I say, sort of Annette in the sort of the bubble that she's in, and I likened it to the whole Jeremy Kyle thing, where it's just like they go on the show and they, spill everything out, but there was no.
You know what? For me,
aftercare.
it was the constant problems. Every few days there was a drama going on. It was, oh guys, I'm doing this today. This has happened. I'm feeling like this today, and oh God, I'm not going to do this, and I'm not well, and I know a number of people that are disabled, if not more so than she is, and they don't ring me and leave messages in group chats and tell me every single day how terrible their life is and put all of that stress and pain on me.
Yeah, it's as I say, it's like when she goes live, she burdens almost everybody with the ailments that she has or how she's feeling, and then obviously that then creates like a sympathy, side of things, and then people obviously gift out of sympathy and whatnot, but then it's putting that on other people. And like deep down, it's like I didn't know her as a person. I mean, I say you
Well, one of
knew
the
her
people,
better
one of the
than
people in this room
I think,
is
you know.
one of her neighbours. I won't name them by name, but one of the people in this room is her neighbour.
Yeah.
And they used to
Wow.
go over and help. They had a key to the house. You know, they would go and help and support if they needed to help. But they got turned on because they basically what they did is they came into my live and said hi. Pretty much that was what it was. And it was seen as supporting me and all this nonsense. Of course, there were people that watched Annette, and I used to have quite funny banter with her, you know. And so people would then come over to my TikTok. And so that's all that happened, you know. But the fact that there's actually a neighbour that is saying the same things, these are people in real life that have met this person and know this person day in and day out. All saying the same thing, literally all saying the same thing.
And as your video the other day sort of stated, if there's so many people saying the same thing with like just different accounts, but you know the content of what we're all saying is the same, but she's the only one that's like saying, well, no. It's like, well, where do you think the
and it worries
lies,
me when
you know?
I see her come on and say how everyone is bullying her and still be insistent that she's done nothing wrong. It genuinely worries me for not only her mental health, but the mental health of the people that follow her. Like, these people are, a lot of people on TikTok are vulnerable. They're vulnerable because, as you've said, they come on TikTok to get that extra support, that help, that feeling that they're part of a social team or group, you know? And unfortunately, big influencers, not just Annette, others as well, who do things like have gastric bans without actually fully thinking through what they're doing, you know, and how damaging that can be to someone who's worried about their body image. There are so many different problems with TikTok like that. And she has a platform where she keeps acting the way that she does and being so insistent that her behavior isn't wrong. That's going to rub off on other people. It's going to rub off on other people. And that's why, you know, you have people have so much disgust for footballers when they cheat or when they do something wrong. They get kicked out of football teams, you know, because they are influencing children. And they have to understand they're in a level of responsibility for that. And I believe that she's in a level of responsibility for what she does.
100%. And it's more frustrating when she doesn't take that accountability. Because because she, it's like she's happy to say things and to do things and whatnot, but then not take that accountability. And then, as you say, it's then the people that are watching her. And oh no, Lord Rich, we haven't had that galaxy. Unbelievable. My hype men just want a galaxy, apparently. But no, yeah, exactly. She just doesn't help herself, but then she's also not really helping others. You know, like she thinks she is, but she's quite sort of happy to talk about, say, ME. But then instantly the flip side, it's just like, you know, a troll comes in and then she's so happy to willingly acknowledge them. And that is, I think,
and I
one
do
of the
genuinely
biggest
think that in the back of her mind, she thinks she's helping people. I do genuinely think she wants to help people. I just think she massively goes about it the wrong way and that she doesn't learn from her actions. You know, so as I said, that I do want to preface this with saying that she's not all bad. And that I'm not just here to slate her every single day I talk about her. I just think that I've gone over it a couple of times already tonight. There are reasons why I do what I do and I say what I say. And I think as long as people go into it understanding that, by all means, sit back and watch and enjoy the entertainment. You know, that's what TikTok's there for. The biggest audience on TikTok is drama. You know, and sadly, that's just the way the world works. People watch Big Brother for the same reasons, you know.
Yeah.
By all means, watch the drama, but sit back and take a step back and just make sure you're looking at it from a distance and that you're not getting sucked into it. And unfortunately, I was just a part of that.
Yeah.
And so were you, and so were the mods.
Yeah. Yeah. No, exactly. As I say, yeah, me too. You know, and then that's why I say, like, hindsight's a beautiful thing, because when you look back and then you kind of reflect from that distance, and you do then kind of realize, okay. And now I feel, I say, more empowered to highlight the things that, especially if it is like potential sort of dangerous sort of wording of things or whatever, like, it's not a matter of like, my content is not going to become like, so this is what Annette had for lunch today.
But
like,
the
nothing like
cancer is
that.
easier comment is a prime example of this. In her head, I get where she's coming from, right? She wanted to make a point that her illness or disability I don't even know whether to describe it as an illness or a disability, and I don't want to insult people, so I'm going to say both. I get where she's coming from. She wants to show that you can be in pain for it. But by doing so, you have then isolated all of these people that have had cancer hit them in some way in their lives and hurt so many people by saying it the way that you say it. And then to still continuously sit in a live, not understanding that, and just shouting all of them down and being so rude and ignorant to them is the reason that she gets the hate that she gets and why she is so hurtful and dangerous to people. That was a perfect example
100%.
of that. And that is why all those troll accounts, including, my own account, on some of my videos, I've posted the cancer is easier comment because I wanted that to be seen.
100%. And that's the thing, is that you're using your platform for good, like the way that she should be using her platform. But because she's taking it completely the wrong way, it's like, if that is her point, if that is her mission, her goal, I don't understand why she hasn't realised that she's not succeeding in that.
Sorry, I was just going to say, KM made a good point there, that she lied. I think either she doesn't understand that she said it, or she is lying, and I think she's trying to backtrack from it. It's one of those two. 100% she made the comment based on the article initially. She made a video saying cancer is easier, and then went on to explain why she thought the article, whatever, right? She did quote an article. I accept that. But at the next video, or the end of the video, she goes, so yes, I do think that sometimes cancer is easier. That is your personal opinion. That is you saying it is easier. That's not quoting an article. And Evil Queen said it best as well when she highlighted the fact that, in the first place, why are you sharing this article in the first place? You must heavily agree with it if you're sharing it. So you can't just sit there and say, I'm quoting. If I put an article now on my link tree saying something about a certain race or something, that was derogatory to them, but then said, I didn't say it, I'm just pointing it on there to quote it. Well, I have some responsibility for that because I'm showing it and I'm highlighting it, and she has responsibility for it herself.
100%. And
then she doubles down, and she's still got it up there.
Is still there, along with her. Well, what was 25 gift cards is now only one, but they were 25 there. Yeah. Like, I know, it's honestly, it's insane. But then I'm just sort of trying to see it from a different angle. Could it be that she doesn't really understand the content? Like, as to why it would cause so much backlash?
I don't think she understands why it caused so much backlash. But she needs to understand that it did. And she's been told that. Even her friends told her that, but she chose to isolate them all because she didn't agree with them. There are other things I really don't want to talk about family, so I'm not going to do that. But there are so many people in her life that when they disagree with her, she isolates them. And that's what I'm talking about with the whole enabling thing, You're right. She didn't understand that it hurt people, but then she made an apology video. So she knew that she'd hurt people because of the big backlash of it. So there's a part of her brain that clicked and went, okay, I did something wrong here. But she worded it, even the apology video was worded so incorrectly, It's
like she needs to just stop for a second Like, she needs to take a step back, like, kind of almost do like just a rebrand thing, and just create structure behind her content and her lives and move forward in that direction.
And if she came on after that and just said, look, guys, I understand that lots of people were really upset with what I said. I genuinely didn't mean it like that. I just wanted to highlight my condition. I'm sorry to all the people that I offended. Let's move on, right? None of that would have happened after that. There would be no drama. There'd be nothing. She'd be able to carry on with her content. But not once does she sit back and go, even in one of her lives the other day, she started to say, well, in hindsight, and I thought she was going to apologise then and say she'd done things wrong. But she immediately switched the conversation without apologising. A normal person would just take a step back, understand they've hurt people and move on,
Yeah. Because some people might not filter the same way as others, and you say something that you might not mean in that way, but as you say, just the apology to move and then move forward is the healthy thing for everybody. Some people might not be able to move on because that affected or whatever, but that's for them to have to deal with. If you're apologizing and moving on, then great, but she just can't seem to comprehend that, really. There is
no way to hack someone's Amazon wish list, but what I would say is, if you put something in your cart from an Amazon wish list, it removes it from the wish list. So, but I'm not giving you advice on what to do. I'm just telling you that's something that happens.
Just that.
It's a thing. I mean, someone else said it earlier, anyway.
It's true. Yeah. So yeah. Take that one Deliveroo gift card off her wish list.
Hey, look, I didn't say that, okay?
Whoa! Oh no! I'm sorry. Sorry. I'm clout chasing. Sorry, John. Sorry.
But if you guys could pay for her to have a takeaway on the moving out night, I'm sure she would appreciate it.
When she eats that chicken ball, when she gets her Chinese, she'll be thinking of you, I'm sure. Oh, blimey. I was trying to get Mrs. McCaw to join us, because some of the things that she was saying, I wasn't even aware of.
He slated me. He absolutely slated me. I don't know. Mrs. McCaw, then, the whole thing with her and Annette happened. So, but that was another example of where someone just gets drawn into what she was saying and believes every word of it,
And also it's like, it's not the fact it's not that we're gullible. It
cult.
feels like a
you
cult.
are trained
it really
mentally
does.
to hate me.
That's basically the sort of the general gist of it. Because when I joined, obviously, I didn't know who she was. I didn't know who you were. And throughout the time that I was her mod, whether she even thought to maybe check, I don't know. But I was following your account all the time that I was a mod for her. So she obviously clearly didn't care too much. Well, as I said earlier, I was. Yeah, as I said, like I felt like a mushroom. I was just fed shit and kept in the dark. I was not, as I say, high up on the pecking order of things, but I just completely forgot my train of thought because I spoke about mushrooms.
So look, I'm going to be honest. I'm on 3% battery on my phone, so I'm going to have to head off in a second.
No, that's fine.
This wasn't just to come on and
John,
slate her. That's all she'll say it is anyway. It'll be spun in the morning or whatever. But the fact is, the more people that come out and say these things and give their viewpoints on things, maybe, just maybe, it'll help other people. That's the most important thing.
And that's exactly kind of like, yeah, no, exactly. And that's why I'm taking that stance, like with you. I'm not trying to make content to appease, to like give her more attention. It's like, no. It's to highlight to people that like, no.
And there's another valid point from SJDJDI, right? I think you just hit the keyboard then when you created your account name. In Mrs. McCaw's defense, when you see a lovely lady and a nasty man who's bullying her, you'll defend the lovely lady. That is a very valid point. I do not have, and again, don't take this the wrong way, I do not have the sat on an armchair, lovely old lady look to me, okay? And so if you are going to pick one from a first sight point of view, you will choose the one that comes across really nice initially. You know, but if you sit back and listen to the words that are coming out of our mouths, you can make your own mind up as to what the truth is. And I don't mind. 100%. There are going to be people that don't like me in life, and that's fine. You know, I wouldn't come on TikTok if I was bothered by that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I was just saying, I mean, I'm not there yet, I guess, but eventually there will be, you know, and that's fine. I can deal with it. You know?
Mrs. McCall, no, I didn't say that. I said that your husband initially didn't like me very much. I can't remember what it was or how it happened, but I remember either talking to you in the live and he reacted a certain way or something. I can't remember what happened. That was just what I was referring to, basically.
Perfect. Well, thank you, John, for popping in. I wasn't expecting you to pop in. I wasn't expecting this to all pop off.
I got a couple of messages saying you know, some of my mods are in here chatting, and I just thought, oh, I'll pop it. I sound so weird saying my mods. Like I am famous, you know, so I have got a group of mods, and yeah, exactly. Someone saw me in the supermarket the other day and then sent me a message saying, I think I saw you in the supermarket. I had 3 people come up to me on my last cruise and said, are you that TikToker? I'm telling you, my brain is getting bigger by the day.
Your ego will be holding up the universe.
But look, you know, I'm glad that I can come in and support you as well. So, you know, hopefully you can keep growing your account.
I do appreciate it.
You know, so everyone give Pockers a follow. He's a bit of an oddity, but you know, I'm sure some of you might like that. Exactly.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me in, and have a nice evening.
No, you too, John. You take care of yourself.
So can you kick me out? Okay, bye-bye.
I can. Thank you, sir. Much love. Bye. I do like John. He's a nice person to talk to. Like, and because he speaks with experience, and there's that wisdom that comes with that experience, and you can appreciate it, you know? Anyway, I want to thank everyone so much for joining, for interacting and talking and following me. I don't even know how many people have followed, but I'm going to check at the end and it's going to be like, you know, so please don't forget to follow. I do appreciate every single one of you, all 187 of you that are in right now. Willie does speak respectfully, and that's exactly it. And he's got years of wisdom, you know, and it's from obviously an experienced creator to a less experienced creator, or, you know, on TikTok. It's nice knowing that, I say he just popped in, because I know his mod popped in and then he popped in, and you can have a nice conversation. I mean, I would like to generally just have a conversation that isn't about, you know, Fanny Adams, you know what I mean? You know, that's why I thought, let's talk about the half-price air fryers he's got. Because, you know, like, I'm selling 2,000, sweet bippy on biscuits. I mean, God, that's a lot. Anyway, genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much. It is 11 o'clock at night, and I always finish my lives by singing the goodbye song from Bear in the Big Blue House, because, you know, I'm weird. So I want to say thank you to everyone that liked and followed, and don't forget to watch out for more Parker's Paws. Yeah.
The Observer, providing you with the latest TikTok drama from across the UK.